It has been a really long wait, but Notion's API is finally here. And today what I want to show you is just a simple notifications database inside of Notion that is going to collect from external programs using this API. More specifically, I'm going to be using Zapier and Automate.io to make this happen. I will also only be using their free plans, so you can totally follow along. They both allow you to create up to 5 bots. And for Zapier, you're gonna have a limit of 100 actions a month. That basically means 100 updates to your Notion page or Notion workspace every month. In Automate.io, that is 300 actions, which if you put them together, because you can use them both together, it will be 400 actions a month and 10 bots. I'm gonna show you how we can grab data from Gumroad, also how to grab data from RSS feeds and Twitter. So we're just gonna start with those for today. I'm definitely gonna do more content in the future, especially with emails and connecting those to Notion. Let's just get right into it. First, let's take a look at the page that I'm gonna be working in inside of Notion. This is my content calendar page, or just my general content page for my blog and my YouTube channel. So we have our notifications database, which we're going to be working with for these integrations. My content creation process for the year of 2021, some reminders there, some goals with checkboxes, and then we have another database here called user research. This is a list of queries that we're also going to be connecting through Zapier, or I believe Automate.io, where we're gonna go ahead inside of Twitter and create an automatic search query. So when they @tweet Notion HQ and happen to have the word database in their tweet, I will get a list of tweets that will populate this page. So this is a place where I can get some ideas for content based on some questions or some things people are talking about regarding Notion and databases. Let's get right into connecting our Notion to Zapier. So coming over here, I have Zapier, and we are going to be using Zapier and Automate.io. And the reason for this is because I only want to be using free plans for this tutorial. I don't want to show you something that costs money. We will be getting more in depth with Zapier and Automate.io and other programs that work with the API. So the first thing we're gonna do is go to My Apps inside of your Zapier account, and we're going to add a connection. Let's look for Notion. What it's gonna do is prompt you to find a token. Pretty easy. What we're gonna do is go up to the sidebar here, go to Settings and Members, go to your integrations down at the bottom under Workspace, and go to Develop Your Own Integrations. I'm just gonna create a new integration. Let's call it Zapier Bot. You can upload a logo if you'd like, but I'm not going to for this example. Click the workspace you're associated with, and I believe you need to make sure you are an admin of that workspace, which makes sense. And then here we have our Zapier bot. Make sure the integration type is internal, and you'll have your secret token here. Just press show and copy that token over. And now that we have this, let's go to Zaps, make a new Zap. And the first one I want to do is with Gumroad. So I already have Gumroad connected. It's a really easy setup. I think you just log in. Zapier will give you that little prompt to do that for you. So the first trigger we're going to have for this app, first of all, let's name it. Let's say new sale. And I want to find Gumroad. Trigger event is going to be a sale. The product I want to set up is whenever my Notion Library Collect HQ gets a sale. Let's continue, since that's the only template I have that costs money. So let's test this trigger. So you're going to get a few options. You're going to get sale A, B, and C. These are just a selection of examples. So really you can select any one of them. And now we want the action whenever a sale comes through to go to Notion. So let's just search for Notion, make sure it's the official one, and make sure the action is create database item. Continue again, and make sure the account is Notion. Now it's going to prompt you to find a database. Right now there are no options available because we haven't connected a specific database yet. Let's go ahead and do that. Now let's go to this notifications database. Let's just click out of here, make sure it's full screen. I'm going to open this database as a page if it isn't already a page for you. Go up to share inside of that page, and we're just going to go to invite. Our new integration should show up. Just click it and press invite. I really should have connected that database before I went through all this. So what we're going to do is go back up to choose app and event. And I'm just going to kind of reset here, press create database item again and go through the process. So through notifications, now we're going to see every single one of the properties that are associated with this database. We have sticker, tags, created time, which is automatic, so that won't show up. Also, we do have a formula called archive that also will not show up, but we will see force archive and this info and link property. So for Gumroad, I'm gonna have this little emoji at the beginning of my reminder. You can see I have little unique emojis at the front of each notification. This is because you're not able to select a template with Zapier, so I won't be able to add an emoji through an actual pages icon. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of a workaround by doing this, and let's see how I want to set this up. So every single time there's a new sale, I want to have this emoji in the front. New sale, exclamation point. You know what, you guys probably can't see very well. I'm always getting a comment that I'm not zooming in enough. The name of the product sold. So I'm not going to have anything inside of info, but inside of tags, I do have an option of 4 different tags here. So here's one thing. You can choose a tag you already have inside of a database through Zapier, but you cannot create a new option inside of a select property or multi-select property. I'm going to choose monetization. Let me see if I can do a link, see if there's a link option in here. I don't think there is, and that's totally fine. I just want to see if someone has indeed purchased this template. Let's continue. You can do a test run without it going towards your action limit. Let's test and review and see if it shows up here. And it does. We have new sale of premium Notion library. And I do have a little heart sticker. This is a formula that is really simple. Whenever we have a tag that says monetization or community, it's a heart. And for any other instances, so really just reminders, it's a plus symbol. Let's go on to the next one, but firstly, let's turn on the Zap and you're done. That is the entire integration. That one was really simple. We can go back to the home page here and create our next Zap. And for this one, what I want to do is every single time that I post an article, considering this is my content creation dashboard, I want a notification that just says, congratulations, you posted an article. So what's really nice about Zapier is that you can connect RSS feeds, and I'm basically just gonna grab my own from my blog. First, actually, let's just go and grab that RSS feed, go back to Zapier, and what I'm gonna do is search for RSS. Let's do a new item in feed, so whenever I post anything. Regarding the action limit, so we only have 100 a month. I do not post 100 things a month. I post about 2 to 4 a week. This isn't really going to be much of an issue for the free plan. I'm just going to paste that feed URL inside of there. And I don't need to fill out username or password. Not necessary. I would choose the top recommended option and continue. Test that trigger, of course, and it should give me an example of the last thing I published, which is how to find the token to connect Zapier and Notion. We have a lot going on here, a lot more than the Gumroad. So we have a title, a category, creator, publication date, also a description, and some other stuff. We also have like content that I can paste into the content of the page, but let's just do Notion as what we want to put this into, of course. And this setup is just the exact same as before. I'm going to create a new database item, which is going to go into our notifications database, and will give us all the possible properties to fill out. The name, copy this emoji here, just a little check mark. And I'm gonna say congratulations. Say you published, and then I'm gonna put in here the title of my article. And let's just say +1 for growth. Inside of the info box, since we do have that category option, I'm gonna put that in here. Raw category in this case. For this, I have the category program functions. Let's have this one be a reminder. And the link will be the link to the article. Now, I could do the content of the article, but that's not really necessary in this case. And let's test this one out. All right, so we do have congratulations, you published how to find the token to connect Zapier and Notion, +1 for growth. Let's keep it like that. Let's turn on the Zap and move on to the next thing. Let's go into some Twitter integrations. Now, Twitter is something I am probably most excited about. So what we're gonna do here is whenever someone shares a piece of content that is from my website that specifically has my URL, I'm going to get a notification saying, hey, someone shared your content. I think that's pretty relevant for a content creation page. Say Twitter share. Click Twitter. It will prompt you to log into your Twitter. I already did that. I'm gonna go down to search mention as the trigger event. Now, what I'm gonna do for this search term is just my website, redgregory.com, but I'm gonna filter out everything that I'm posting. So if I post something with my website, of course I will, because I will be promoting my stuff, I wanna filter that out of here. So I'm gonna say -from : and just have my @ name here. @redgregory1. There's a lot of different ways you can narrow down these searches. So if you are looking to automate some Twitter results into your workspace, I will leave a link down below to some documentation that helped me out. Okay, let's move on. So it should give me the last time someone shared my content. Let's go through all these mentions and make sure none of them are from me. Make sure this worked. So that is a retweet, and mention B and mention A is also a retweet. So go into connecting this to Notion, searching for Notion, and creating a database item into the notification database. Notifications, let's look at the name here, and I'm gonna have a little star at the beginning and say username. Actually, let's do full name. Shared your content. Exclamation point. Inside of info, I just want the tweet text. Inside of tags, let's click community, and the link is the URL link. URL. I'm just gonna turn it on. So I'm pretty sure it'll work. Yeah. I actually did this test yesterday, didn't I? Now, before we go over to Automate.io, you'll notice that I have set up my properties to show me the link, and that's just going to these 3 dots and going to properties. I'm showing the link, and I can open the link right here. I also have a checkbox to force archive, so it'll disappear whenever I click that. And then I have that sticker there. So just a reminder, you only get 5 free bots with Zapier. We have 3 here and 100 actions. I feel like we're gonna be well under 100 for what I have set up. Let's go over to Automate.io and create a bot. We're gonna connect to Notion. Looks like I have not connected yet. Super easy process in Automate.io, very different from Zapier. It's just gonna ask you to log in. Select pages, and I'm gonna select my Red Gregory page, which is our content creation page. Allow access. Now, all the databases within this page will be available to update. So in this case, I don't have to go to every single database and invite Automate.io like we did with Zapier. Let's again go to search tweets like we just did in Zapier, and I'm gonna connect to Notion. Now the search query for this one, essentially whenever someone @s Notion, like their official account, and includes the word database in their tweet. So the search query is gonna be this, and what I'm gonna do is filter out me again, so -from me. We're gonna go over to Notion, select the action to be done, which is going to be add page content. And we're gonna go into this list of queries page and update the body of the page. So we're not adding new database items, we are updating the inside of the page. What we'll have to do here is find the page ID. Let's go into list queries, open this up as a full page. We're gonna go up to share and just copy this link. Paste it in, but we don't need the whole link. Just go up to where the assortment of letters and numbers begins. That is your page ID. So what I wanna do is add paragraph style. And within this paragraph, I'm gonna set up the tweet. So I don't wanna see the whole tweet. I just wanna see basically the context of the tweet. Let's say tweet text and from, and let's have the user ID. Below this, I do want the user's full name and a link to the tweet. Now this link will not be clickable, but we'll put it there anyway. Let's do a little divider like I have in the example. Go to save. Let's turn the bot on. I'm done. What it's gonna do is check for this search tweet query. And if nothing comes up, it will just say nothing came up. But that doesn't mean it's not working. It just means it couldn't find any recent posts under these search query. It's gonna show up in this style for me, and I do like this. It's just giving me a little snippet, what people are tweeting about in general to Notion. Like for this one up here, is it possible to use Zaps to create database items using a template? I would like to know as well, and if that's something that can happen in the future. So I gave it a yellow coloring because it is sort of something that probably could happen in the future. Probably just keep this on the back burner, try to look at that API, see if coding can make this happen. Green is something that I feel like I could make right now. Now, a lot of these tweets to Notion are usually questions, which is great for me trying to find content, because then I can answer these questions through the form of an article or a video. And yeah, we'll see that update over time. So that one's really valuable for a page like this. Let's do something that's super easy and really anyone could have use for, and that's reminders. So every Friday morning, I want to be reminded to start brainstorming video ideas. Copy this emoji here, and we are going to use Automate IO. Let's just search that in here, timer. And the trigger is going to be every week, and the action is Notion, of course. But every week on Friday, time of day is going to be 7 a.m. and then my time zone, of course, which is Eastern US. And now let's look at the Notion side of things. So what I want to do is, again, just add an item. We're going to choose the database notifications, fill everything out like we did in Zapier. What I'm going to do here is pretty simple. Let's go to tags and let's choose reminder. You could also link to another database, like I could link to my content calendar database by just copying the link from that page and putting it in here. Have this dot and say start brainstorming video idea. So this should be sent to my notification database every Friday at 7 a.m. Okay, so how do we automatically make this stuff disappear if it gets a little bit out of hand? I did make another database view called archived notifications. Firstly, what I have is a force archive checkbox, just a checkbox. And what I did was I created a filter inside of notifications that essentially just says force archive is empty. And you're gonna find those filters inside of the menu. Now, inside of archived notifications, I have another filter that just says that forced archive is checked. Let's look at that formula though. So with this formula, it's a very simple formula. Let's zoom in one more time. We're just gonna say date between, this is the date between function, date between right now and the time that this database item was created, which is automatic. In the number of days, I just want it to be greater than 0. All right, we do need to add another filter to this that basically says archive is checked or forced archived is checked. And in notifications, we're just gonna say forced archived is unchecked and archive, the formula we just made, is also unchecked. Okay, so that's it. This might have been a long one. I'm sorry. Let's go into the outro. I hope you guys were at least a little bit inspired on how to just get started using this API and using these connections and integrations. I will, like I said in the beginning of the video, be going way more into the API and different ways to connect data to your Notion workspace. But for right now, I am just testing everything out, and I'm assuming you guys are too. The API just came out a few days ago, so I didn't get a ton of time to work with it yet, but I am super excited to see what I can do with it. I will see you guys the rest of the week on Twitter. I was supposed to put out a video last week about my content calendar, and it's almost a good thing that I didn't put it out because now I want to add a little bit from these API connections into that system. So I might put that out in the middle of the week. I might put it out next Sunday. It depends on my schedule. But other than that, I'll see you guys the rest of the week on Twitter and next time with a new video. See you then.